Barony is a game that allows you to play as an alcoholic furry with severe anger issues, aka Datum. Don't read it backwards. This might seem terrifying, but truthfully, this booze-soaked goat man is plagued with more weaknesses than just a dying liver and 3 kids who won't speak to him. While suffering from alcohol withdrawals, he constantly has the hungover condition, causing the screen to shake violently and your dexterity to drop by 3. And because of his love of furry pornography and his alcohol-fueled rage, every race except other goatmen despise him and will attack him on sight, including all shopkeepers. The bartender figured out who I was! We're all gonna die! Thankfully, just like real life, if this horrific vomit-covered pile of wet fur manages to get hold of some booze, he is immune to all drunken debuffs, instead gaining +4 strength, constitution, and charisma. Armed with nothing but his Walmart brewing kit, female body inspector t-shirt, and liver disease, Datum's goal today is to somehow traverse 35 floors of monster-infested mines, swamps, and ruins to eventually overthrow the government and wipe all evidence of his criminal drunk driving record. But to do that, first, we have to learn how to brew hand grenades. No, seriously. You see, Datum, just like every arts graduate with a cardigan in his 20s, has taken up micro-brewing, allowing him to brew not just booze, but all sorts of strange and lethal potions, if he is lucky enough to find the correct ingredients. Thankfully, we start with a decent unarmed stat, so after waking up hungover and starving, we throw our weapon away, down one of our bottles of beer, and start fisting. Despite being double-teamed by 2 boners and not blocking once, this doesn't go too badly, thanks to the constitution buff from the beer. We continue our floor 1 rampage, and I start to think this is going to be an incredibly short video. Wait, is being an alcoholic overpowered? Our good luck continues as we find a small rust-covered fountain. Taking our very limited supply of empty beer bottles, we fill 2 with water. These water-based potions give us a small chance to duplicate any other potion we have, including health, beer, and our hand grenades. What the hell is a firestorm potion? 3 fireballs? Like all gamers, I haven't read a single guide or tutorial about this class, but it appears I start with 2 potions of Firestorm that do extreme damage when thrown, basically being able to one-hit almost any enemy for the first half of the run. I really should duplicate these, but like a middle-aged Texan father of 3 in a hurricane, I decide to prioritize my beer. We continue on and go to take down another boner, but I decide to get fancy with it, attempting to block his attacks rather than speed blitz him down like a JoJo's character. Immediately, I'm punished for attempting to use the game's mechanics properly, and I'm killed by a level 1 skeleton while still holding 2 hand grenades. Maybe we should use our explosives next time. We start run 2 by accidentally drinking acid instead of our beer, but thanks to our horribly damaged, disfigured, and disgusting body, we don't realize our mistake, meaning even this level 1 rat kicks my ass. Why do I feel so weak? I was doing really well in the first run. Why do I feel so weak? What the hell's happening? I don't know, LJ. Maybe look at that giant debuff sitting above your health, showing that you've somehow messed up the entire core mechanic of the class you're playing. Either way, learning from run 1, sort of. As soon as I see a boner, I throw one of our firestorm potions. Holy... Whoa! That's broken. We managed to find a fountain, gather some water, but accidentally spawn a slime that, because I am still hungover, will one-hit me. I rush away and get incredibly lucky, managing to duplicate our firestorm 4 times. Alright, let's see how this goes against us. Whoa! This is the best class ever. Yes, these hand grenade potions are incredibly powerful, but they suffer 3 major downsides. First, if they go off close to me, they will kill me as well, meaning I need to throw them. Second, I can't aim for shit. And third, they are very limited in supply, meaning we either need to find endless water and empty bottles to duplicate them, or the rare special ingredients to brew more of them, or risk entering the later levels with no way to kill the boss. Thankfully, if we somehow manage to grind our alchemy skill all the way up to level 100, not only will we be able to confidently duplicate them, but the damage they do will also scale tremendously. For now though, we just need to use them sparingly. However, I am a drunken goat with low intelligence, so I ignore all of this, waste my potions, and thanks to the fact that I still have not drunk any beer despite it being the main mechanic of my class, instead, again, choosing to drink that acid, I'm about to get 2-hit by a level 1 boner. Why was I so weak in melee that time? What the hell happened? I guess we will never know. Undeterred and absolutely totally starting to understand our class mechanics, even if we refuse to use them, we start run 3. You know, crazy idea, this time maybe I don't throw my axe away. I feel like that extra damage and bleed might help. Yeah, okay, so note to self, a weapon is good. Thankfully, this time rather than drinking acid, we managed to tornado chug a beer and not die to several skeletons. We got to duplicate several firestorm potions, and even after using the brewing kit a lot by this point, I still struggled to click the potions. Why isn't it? Hold on. I'm super confused. After 3 full minutes, I try right-clicking and it appears to work like every other previous attempt before I somehow suffered from this temporary brain damage. These hand grenades allow us to bomb several spiders, and as I begin taking down the remainders with my axe, a skeleton appears to gank me from behind, only to be surprised with a hand grenade to the face. Alright, this is going pretty smoothly. I'm level 4, it's still the first floor. That's kind of massive. We find a human locked behind some bars and decide to try one of our race's special abilities. Much like real life, buying someone a drink is the fastest way to immediately make them your underling. So if we glass humans or goblins over the head with beer bottles, they will become so enamored by us that they will not just join our party to fight for us, but even die for us. Here we go. Yeet. What the hell? No, he did. Do you want more? No? One more? No? I thought I could recruit him. Okay, I've wasted all my booze. I don't know how to get more. Was it because I said yeet in 2026? On that catastrophic failure, knowing that we are stuck with consistent horrendous debuffs until we can find more booze, we move on to floor 2, where we use one of the few polymorph potions we start with to transform and recruit an archer named Sven. Huh. Just asking them to join is way more effective than glassing someone in the head, apparently. Who would have thought? But while hungover, distracted, digging through my backpack for anything with an alcohol content, and moving incredibly slowly, we hear this sound. Oh shit! Oh, that was way too close. Anyway, look, Barony's a smart game, right? They like to start you with everything you need to learn your class. So if I was trying to brew beer, I would use fruit juice, like real life, and then blindness or confusion. This will brew beer, or it will waste my only heal I have. Screw it. It worked! Okay, don't drink it. Hold off, duplicate it. Which we easily managed to do very soon after, duplicating not just the beer, but our hand grenades as well, before stumbling across a tinkering bench. This rare spawn will allow me to salvage useless equipment and craft all sorts of useful items, such as explosive traps or automatic turrets. Or it would if I wasn't a drunk goat with hooves for hands and slight brain damage from headbutting my friends for fun. Either way, I salvage everything I can from spellbooks to jewels to armor, and use the scrap to craft a few empty bottles, which if we find water will help us begin building our arsenal of hand grenades. The only thing that could be better is if we found a Tinker's Kit. This would allow us to salvage and craft wherever we are. But for now, this will do as we move on to floor 3, where sadly we are met with a Minotaur floor. To any other race or class, this would be terrifying, because it means an 8-foot tall, leather-bound bovine furry is about to enter the floor, chase me down, and crush me between his supple udders. But the Goatman Brewer is actually one of the few who can stand toe-to-toe with this beautiful beast, thanks to the overpowered and honestly unethical nature of the Firestorm potions. Sadly, I'm an idiot. I waste several of mine on the troll and realize if I stay, I am now screwed. Quickly recruit another archer named Petunia, and as the Minotaur's face begins to flash, aggressively warning me of his impending, utterly devastating assault, I luckily find an exit to a secret floor. The Mine Town. Filled with racist humans, several water fountains, and half a dozen shops, I spend my brief time polymorphed doing everything I can to gather as many potions, water bottles, and trick those racists into joining my bar crawl. Oh, I don't get water from religious fountains. I just get full-blown potions. Okay, that's kind of cool. And after carefully min-maxing as much as I can for over 9 minutes and successfully gathering 7 Firestorm potions, I decide to check one last chest before leaving. Almost done. Let's hope this— Oh shit! No, Leora, move! Get out of the way! No! Ah, I can't believe— oh shit, look at all the potions it dropped. Oh, that's really good for us. With our newfound drunken confidence, racist allies, and excessive use of force, the next floor goes incredibly smoothly, blowing up several small gnomes and their hairy stepfather. We attempt to recruit another human by glassing them, but it seems to simply anger them, so my allies murder them. What am I doing wrong? With that, we head into the next biome, the swamps. A nostalgic place for me, this foul-smelling, sticky, trash-covered biome reminds me of my younger days spent working at the local cinema, when I had to clean the ladies' restroom. Filled with poisonous slimes, sickly-looking crack addicts, and fecal-covered walls, it's normally a death sentence. However, at this point, we are incredibly overpowered. Being level 11 with dozens of different beers, potions, and even a blessed ring of magic resistance, it's hard to imagine anything could go wrong. Heck, we even managed to recruit this goblin by glassing them over the head. Holy shit, it worked! Oh, of course it did. That makes sense. If you want someone to party, you have to be drunk first, or they'll think you're a fucking cop. This is the God Run. We're going all the— holy shit! Oh, burning, panicking. There are— I could do so many things. No, I'm dead. Phew, Feeling incredibly defeated, knowing I burned to death 2 meters from water, holding several hand grenades that would have easily killed that goblin mage, or if we had simply thrown the beer bottle that was in my hand, he would have allied with us. Nevertheless, we march back in for run 4, knowing that absolutely no run will be as lucky as the one we just lost. We're proven right immediately as we're surrounded, forced to use one of our firestorm potions, and attempting to duplicate the last one quickly fails. Feeling like the run is over before it even began, I decide to randomly combine starting potions and find a new type of hand grenade, a thunderstorm potion. I gamble and manage to duplicate that single potion into 3. Okay, we've got damage again. We can do this, just don't waste all these potions. Oh shit, a ghoul. Oh shit, a dead end. Oh shit. Oh no! I've wasted all my potions again. Off to a rocky start, but not defeated. On floor 2, we managed to bottle the holy water from this local religious fountain to use as beer. Drunk and full of confidence, I attempt to duplicate my final thunderstorm potion and fail, meaning we once again have 0 damage. Desperate, I polymorph myself and enter the shop on this floor, and to our surprise, find a Tinker's Kit. Fellas, this means it's time to commit war crimes. You see, as a young teenager, over 18 years ago, the first thing I did when I gained access to the internet was put my family's computer on every government watch list in Australia by downloading the Anarchist Cookbook. And while I don't recommend doing this, it did allow me to learn that if we spend our nights drunkenly removing nuclear material from smoke detectors, we will eventually be able to craft explosive traps that can endlessly stack on top of themselves to create some sort of unholy mini-nuke that leaves nothing alive. For now though, we spam craft empty bottles for beer. To make things worse, floor 3 is a Minotaur floor, meaning we get almost no experience as we're forced to flee straight to the next exit, and this time it isn't Minetown. Underleveled and stuck polymorphed means I don't have any damage behind my drunken axe. We slowly progress through the floor, focusing on tinkering until finally polymorph breaks and we can start grinding. Humans, boners, slimes, whatever we can find is drunkenly crushed under our blade. We get incredibly lucky and manage to brew another thunderstorm potion and even duplicate it into 4. I brew some beer and while experimenting managed to brew an ice storm potion. It's nowhere near as lucky as our last run, but you know what? Who needs luck when you've got beer to make you feel it? Mimic! Mimic! Oh, I just shit myself. Back in the ladies' room, I attempt to gather some of the local holy water, but a nun appears to stop me. I throw a hand grenade at her and she vanishes, thankfully. However, there is a problem. I am heavily underleveled and undergeared. Other than a fairly lucky ring of magic resistance and a poison resistance necklace, I'm only wearing an old hat and a pair of boots. My goat dong is flying in the wind. Normally, I'd be unable to fight any of the slimes or ghouls on this floor, but thanks to my drunken violent tendencies, I can hold my own if I'm careful. Luckily, we managed to recruit an archer named Otto, and not wanting to be racist, I invite along the mace-wielding goblin cleric I find gooning in his hut, and over the next few floors, these meat shields prove incredibly useful, distracting another nun so I can throw a hand grenade at her, being stripped naked by this mimic, and even helping to recruit more goblins to the party. We polymorph ourselves and manage to buy a few potions of levitation, which will come in handy later to reach secret floors. Heading to the next floor, we watch as Otto dives in front of a fireball that would have killed us. There is no time to grieve, sadly though, as this is a Minotaur floor, and I've wasted almost all my hand grenades. Again. On the next floor, things are looking up, not because I attempt to duplicate our last Thunder Potion and fail utterly, but I do manage to find a full set of plate armor, and while polymorphed buy a few 6-packs of beer from the local tavern, which I use to quickly recruit even more idiots to our cause, who immediately puke and rally. Jesus, dude. Can't you even handle a single beer? Armed with a party of violent drunken criminals wearing full set of plate armor, we leave the ladies' room and do what every drunk does when they finally get a nice suit. Head to Vegas for the casinos. Normally, this sprawling mess of dry, dusty corridors is designed to stop you from ever seeing the sun again, and it's incredibly dangerous. However, we get lucky and the first thing we find are hazard goggles, which buff our alchemy by 10 and make us immune to our potion splash damage. Slowly and steadily, our stash of hand grenades is growing in size and power, and as it gets larger and larger, so do my pants. Other than watching a few of my party members crushed to death by boulders and trolls, these next few floors go incredibly smoothly. We easily take down the dangerous lava slimes thanks to our necklace of fire resistance and even manage to unlock the red orb, a special rare item that if I hold onto till the boss will give me and my party massive buffs, including Roland, a half-naked man I almost killed by glassing with a bottle of beer. Immediately I realize, however, that was the last of my beer, and if I can't find any more soon, I'm going to be incredibly weak in a fight. We rush through the floor and manage to find a fountain that gives us what we need to brew more, and even 6 thunder potions. This luck continues as I quickly find a gold mask, and while it will take us a while to identify it, as long as it isn't cursed, it will lower the carry weight of all of our gold and boost our trading skill by 10, which will come in handy later in a big way. Distracted thinking about this, I accidentally trigger a boulder and watch as Roland is flattened. Thankfully, they're quickly replaced by this small toy helicopter, which we somehow learned to make after crafting 50 glass bottles out of scrap metal, despite, having hooves for hands and being perpetually drunk. We spend a bit more time time toying with the local bugmen who can't actually damage me thanks to my full plate armor before heading to the next biome, the ruins. It's at this point I realize that I'm somehow underleveled again, and worse, I'm all out of beer. Again, causing my screen to shake aggressively. Fellas, this isn't good, especially because the ruins are home to fellow drunken engineers, the gnomish thieves, who gibber and jabber around in packs looking for unsuspecting victims in hopes of stealing their clothes to use in their strange magical traps and even stranger sex parties. Saying that out loud, I realize I have a lot more in common with them than I want. Look, as long as we can sneak up on any groups we find, I think we're fine. Holy shit, they're right there. Okay, we're gonna have to waste some potions. To make things worse, these disgusting short kings drop not so small explosive traps when they die, and the noise of their wet gullets clapping together as they perish often attracts bugbears, a creature that thanks to my hangover could easily two-hit me if it wasn't for my allies Gobby 1 and Gobby 2. What a start to the ruins, holy shit. On the plus side, these little hoarders drop a lot of loot, which would normally be useless. However, thanks to our tinkering, we salvage almost all of it, quickly start leveling up, and begin being able to craft frost traps, which are crucial because we still can't find any beer. All right, let's see how effective this is. Okay, it's not bad. The luck continues as we manage to find fruit juice, brew some beer, and even duplicate it so we can recruit another goblin to the team. Not wanting our meat shields, our friends, to die before the boss, I ask them to wait safely as I venture into a trapped room, only for them to ignore me completely, sprint headfirst into several explosive traps to fight a mimic. You idiots. Needing to refill our ranks, I decide it's finally time to pop that levitation potion we found dozens of floors ago. We smash our skull through a wall and enter the Mystic Library. This secret floor is filled with incredibly racist government workers. So just like a 6-year-old LJ watching his dad pretend not to be drunk when the cops pulled him over, I pretend to be human, so I can not just trick several of them into joining me, but ransack their entire library of magical artifacts to destroy in front of them and repurpose into crude explosive traps, before continuing to floor 17. We begin giving bugbears a taste of their own medicine and watch as our pack of drunken academics gang up on them, blowing them to shreds with spells from a distance, before they are mobbed by several gnomes who rip them to shreds. Well, that didn't last long, but hey, at least their clothes make explosives now. It's at this point, while watching the rare elite ghoul, Carol Grimes, explode into a pile of rotting flesh, that I'm starting to question whether our reliance on tinkering has impacted the spirit of the challenge. However, as I watch a fat little gnome explode into a flaming pile of giblets, I'm filled with a joy that makes me confident this is the path for me. We push forward but are attacked by half a dozen bugbears and a pack of gnomes. We black out and begin drunkenly swinging our axe at anything that moves. When I come to, I'm surrounded by corpses, my fur wet with blood, and somehow I have a slime as an ally. I decide to focus on leveling my axe skill, knowing that if we end up in any fight without any potions or traps, we will need something to fall back on to survive, which immediately goes wrong as a demon jump scares me, and because I'm constantly running out of beer, I begin being beaten to within an inch of my life, and I'm forced to watch as he kills my slime before finally dying. I feel so strong. But I'm realizing unless I'm drunk or just blow my enemies up immediately, I die to almost everything. Terrified, I decide to waste a polymorph potion, throw on a golden mask, and visit a shop, which rewards me immediately with 6 bottles of water that I turn entirely into beer, which I then waste almost all of it on 2 goblins who won't join my party because I am still polymorphed, and the skill only works if I am a goat man. Thanks, Barony. We duck and weave our way through the next few floors, using explosives to thin the ranks of bugbears and fat little gnomes, even managing to find a bear hood and a scroll of bless armor, which when combined boosts our constitution even when not drunk. And before we know it, we're at the Baron. This decrepit, dust-covered old man is the current Prime Minister, and for some reason in our drunken, diseased head, we think he can wipe out our criminal record. But in our drunken stupor, I decide to be greedy and hold onto the red orb to sell later instead of accepting the very powerful buff. I'm gonna be arrogant. I think I can survive this without the buff. I just have to not miss any of my potion throws. The Baron appears and we immediately miss our first potion throw. My meat shields distract him and I come back for a second pass, which lands, doing 1/3 of his health. So I throw another and miss completely. With only a few potions left, I quickly throw another and miss again and again. So I decide to do something risky. Fuck it, stand still. His 1-hit kill will reflect, but I can land my grenades. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, out of 10 throws, I missed 7. Shit. We drunkenly stumble back to town, ready to celebrate our newfound freedom at the bar, only to find out that a new pair of incestuous brother-sister magicians have taken over as Prime Minister, and as their first act, decided to hunt down all the goatmen. I'm forced into the sewers, and fellas, I'm pissed. I make my way through the sewers to find the local crack dealer, and after trading him the orb I held onto, he lets me purchase the Valkyrie's Veil, a faceplate that buffs melee weapon skill by 10. This will be key to making my axes much stronger and will be crucial in the final fight. From here, I polymorph myself, put my golden mask on, and recruit all of the strongest adventurers in town before scamming every shop I can find. I sell thousands of dollars of blood diamonds to the local jewelry store, using the profits to stock up on beer, health potions, ingredients for hand grenades, as well as scrolls for repairing and enchanting my armor. And after 18 straight minutes of careful min-maxing, I am ready to enter the caves. But first, I decide to drop by the local bar to celebrate with my new friends. And this is where it all goes wrong. My polymorph breaks, and the bartender Luke begins blasting. I try to help, but he's too strong, and I'm forced to watch as all of my slimes and even the 4 most powerful adventurers in the game are killed, while I sprint for my life chugging invisibility potions. I can't believe they're dead, and worse, I can't believe I don't get to take all their gear. It's so good. They drop such good gear. Holy shit. Beaten down, alone in that rock bottom, something changes inside of me that I didn't know existed. Purpose. I enter the caves filled with drunken rage like never before, and one goal: overthrow the government. The caves are a dark and terrifying biome filled with crystal golems who can one-hit you, incubi who will charm you to death, and boulders that will flatten you in tight corridors. To make things worse, my axe breaks immediately, and while I do have a blessed crystal axe, it's fragile, meaning if I use it before maxing out my axe skill, it will very likely break, leaving me weaponless for the final fight, something I cannot allow to happen. Instead, I rely on traps and potions to blow my enemies to smithereens, and before I know it, I manage to max my alchemy, meaning every potion I make is blessed, every duplication attempt is guaranteed, and their damage is now, and yes, this is a technical term, fucked. I spend some time brewing more Firestorm potions and duplicate what I can. I could easily wipe out this entire floor with these, but knowing my aim, I decide to risk breaking my axe in hopes of maxing its skill. And for once, it doesn't go terribly. After several close calls with boulders and hours of grinding my tinkering, I decide to experiment with Spellslinger turrets, which does not go well. Shit. Learning from our mistakes over the next few floors, we begin building trap rooms filled with half a dozen turrets and a new Goatman ally we happen to find. We prepare to lure unsuspecting enemies in one by one. However, this goes horribly wrong as the Goatman sprints outside of the room, bleating at the top of his lungs before running back in, drawing an Incubus and Crystal Golem, who promptly one-hit him. We swap almost all of our armor for his, except for our bear hat, place down a dozen explosives, and continue luring enemies into our trap. Alright, that Incubus just teleported past the traps, which is not what I wanted. It isn't working. I'm leaving. Surely it's not that bad out here. Oh! What? A boulder. It half-healthed me. Oh, it's so bad out here. Over the next few floors, we slowly and steadily wipe out everything that moves with our army of turrets and explosives, even managing to max out our axe skill just before we enter the final biome, the Clockwork Citadel. And while it is filled with my fellow drunken goatmen who will happily join me thanks to my max leadership skill, they sadly won't be much help against the oversized feathered fuckers known as the cockatrices. One of the most well-known classic rivalries we all agree on, even more so than werewolves and vampires, is of course goats versus chickens. Resistant to almost all forms of damage, constantly flying, making my traps useless, and even able to mass paralyze entire parties before easily 3-hitting them while they can do nothing but watch. We've been lucky enough to avoid them in the caves, but I don't think this will hold out. I set up a trap room filled with turrets and ring a massive bronze bell I find nearby to draw in enemies. Before I know it, packs of goatmen rush in. Most ally with us, the rest die alongside whoever else was foolish enough to challenge us. I go to press a button I see on the wall, but something stops me. Holy, there it is. A cockatrice. Okay, you stay there, little guy. Distracted trying to plan our next move, a second one comes up behind, ripping the Goatman to shreds. Before I can breathe, the Mimic charges through a dozen explosives, followed quickly by a Crystal Golem, another cockatrice. I turn everything into traps, turrets, and more hand grenade potions, slowly building up my stocks for the final showdown. It's not smooth sailing though. An Incubi magically steals my overpowered axe at one point, and I'm so stunned I don't even attack, simply waiting for my allies to take him down. Thankfully, we do get it back quickly, but we can't allow this to happen again. There are dozens of Goatmen to take the place of those who fall, but while distracted trying to save my brothers, a Crystal Golem sneaks up behind me, charges his one-hit move, and does over 150 damage in a single hit. One wrong move, and 4 hours of grinding will be lost. And then it happens. While fighting an Incubus, its friend magically steals my axe from behind and teleports away. My axe is gone. I look everywhere for it while trying my best to avoid combat, but a cockatrice corners me. I'm forced to use 3 Firestorm potions just to take it down. Thankfully, we find a lone Goatman with a steel axe. Nowhere near as good as ours, but I recruit him hoping he'll die and drop it either way. We move on to the final floor before the boss, and we're immediately met with the worst possible luck. a Minotaur, and a Cockatrice. Thankfully, our ally dies, but he only drops his shoes. As I rush through the clockwork halls completely lost, I realize that if I'm cornered by the Minotaur, I'll have to use almost all of my resources just to survive. But with only 15 seconds to spare, we do reach the final floor. This entire run was spent preparing for this moment, carefully hoarding potions, explosives, traps, turrets, hours spent grinding our axe skill, carefully blessing and repairing our weapon, spending thousands on a mask that buffs only our melee weapon damage, all for it to be stolen at the last moment. With limited resources, we sneak into the boss's level and quietly place down 20 explosive traps with a single pillar. Since the creepy twin lovers who rule the world both fly, I have to place these high or they won't work. But with this many, I'm hoping to blow one of the incestuous twins up in a single hit. Sadly, while trying to prepare the other side, they appear and rush us. It's on. I duck weave and trick them into the trap. It does half of Orpheus's health, but he shakes it off. I gotta drink speed, I gotta drink levitation, and now I just kite and drop traps as I rush around. Each time they stop to send a barrage of spells at me, I try to throw my hand grenades, but with no real magic resistance, they do immense damage when they hit me. Quickly chugging health potions, I managed to land a few good hits on Orpheus, taking him down, but it took almost half of my potions and over 30 explosive traps. If I'm not careful, a few more misses will mean I won't have the damage to take out the full health Eurydice. She stops in the middle to fire a barrage. I land 6 Firestorm potions directly, but miss my 7th and take a lot of damage myself. Thanks to her weakness to fire, she's half health, but I miss my Thunderstorm and things get worse when she summons automatons who begin soaking up explosive traps. I'm running out of health potions. All right, here we go. 1, 2, miss. Oh shit! Okay, I've only got 8 Thunderstorm. It's at least 4 more hits to kill her, and I'm missing more than I'm landing. I use the last of my traps on an automaton and prepare for the final attack. I land 1, miss 1. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Oh, I only had 3 potions left. If I'd missed like 2 or 3 more times, I would not have had the damage at all to win this. That was so close. We return to town with the heads of the Magician's Guild held high. Throwing down my weapon, I tell everyone I'm here to end the bloodshed. Through example, I broke a peace and lead not just the goatmen, but goblins and sectoids to live alongside humans. And there I am, Dadum the Goat.